Welcome, fellow detectives of the nervous system. Today, we're tackling one of the most profound mysteries you'll ever encounter, the comatose patient. Forget the foggy streets of London. Our crime scene is the incredible, intricate network of the human brain. And believe me, the stakes could not be higher.
So, picture this. You get that call. You're needed in the ER stat. The patient is completely unresponsive. The clock is absolutely ticking. This isn't just some academic puzzle. It's a real race against time. The game, as they say, is afoot. So the biggest challenge right now is knowing where to even begin looking for that first clue.
Before we can even think about hunting for clues, we have to understand the scene of the crime, and that's the brain itself. To figure out why the lights went out, we first need to know how they're supposed to stay on.
Okay, let's be super clear about our terms here. Coma is not just a deep sleep. It's a profound, pathological state of unconsciousness. You can't wake the patient up. They won't respond to pain, or light, or sound. It's a huge red flag that something has gone catastrophically wrong with the very systems that keep us aware and conscious.
Now here's the fascinating part. To cause a coma, our culprit really only has two ways to pull it off. They can either take out the brain's central power station, that's the reticular activating system, or RAS, deep in the brainstem, or they can cause a massive citywide blackout by disrupting both cerebral hemispheres at the exact same time. So it's either one very focused attack or one heck of a massive one.
Right, so just like any good detective showing up at a crime scene, we start with a broad survey. We're not going to jump to conclusions. We're going to start by gathering the simple, elementary facts of the case first.
Okay, your investigation kicks off with 3 steps that are totally non-negotiable. First, you secure the scene. That's your airway, breathing, and circulation. You gotta know, is the patient stable? Second, you interview all the witnesses, paramedics, family, friends, anyone. What did they see? What happened? And third, you survey the surroundings. A quick but really thorough general exam. You'd be amazed how often the first clues are staring you right in the face.
Think of the patient's history as your witness testimony. Was the onset sudden, like a gunshot? That might point you towards a stroke. Or was it gradual, more like a slow poisoning? That suggests a metabolic issue. Did the patient complain of the worst headache of their life? Could they have fallen? I'm telling you, every single answer is a breadcrumb that leads you closer to the truth.
And remember, the patient's body often literally wears the evidence. A bump on the head points to trauma. A fever and a stiff neck, that just screams infection. And those tiny, tiny pinpoint pupils, oh yeah, that's the classic calling card of an opioid overdose. The body is telling you a story. You just have to know how to read it. Okay, initial survey is done. Now we bring out our magnifying glass, the neurological exam. This is our specialized toolkit. It lets us peer deep inside the nervous system to really start building our case.
Please never forget this. In a patient who can't speak to you, their reflexes, their posture, even their breathing pattern, it all becomes a language. Our job is to become fluent translators of that strange and absolutely vital language. Every single physical sign is another chapter in the story of what's gone wrong.
The pupils are one of our most powerful clues. I mean it. They are windows directly into the brainstem. Are they pinpoint? You should immediately suspect an opiate overdose, or maybe a bleed in the pons. But what if one pupil is blown, just fixed and dilated? That, my friends, is a 5-alarm fire. It's a signal that pressure is building up and physically squeezing the third cranial nerve. That's a direct, undeniable sign of herniation.
Now let's look at how the patient responds when you apply a painful stimulus. These abnormal postures, they're not random movements. They are profound neurological signs. Decorticate posturing, where the arms flex up toward the core, tells you the damage is higher up, above the brainstem. Decerebrate posturing is more ominous. The arms extend, telling you the injury is deeper, involving the brainstem itself. It's like a confession from the nervous system, telling us exactly where the injury is.
And here it is. This is the crime scene photo of the most feared structural culprit out there. When pressure builds up inside that rigid box we call the skull, whether it's from a bleed, a tumor, or swelling, the brain has nowhere to go. It gets squeezed and pushed into places it should never be. This is herniation. It's the neurologic equivalent of a building collapsing on itself, and it is a dire, dire emergency.
All right, we've examined the scene. We've gathered clues from the physical exam. Now it's time to assemble all our findings and bring in the usual suspects for proper interrogation. We can organize our huge list of suspects into 3 main gangs. Is it a metabolic or a toxic hit job, something like low blood sugar or an overdose? The key clue there is that the exam is often symmetrical, no focal signs. Or is it a structural job, a stroke, a bleed, a tumor? In that case, we expect to find those focal clues, like weakness on one side or that blown pupil. Or maybe our culprit is infectious, like meningitis, and for that we're looking for clues like fever and neck stiffness. You know, an astute detective doesn't just stand there and admire the problem, they act. So while our investigation is still going on, we have to intervene to prevent more harm and, if we get lucky, maybe even reverse the whole process.
This is where you have to act fast with your emergency toolkit. Protect the airway, always. Give naloxone for a suspected opioid overdose. Give glucose for hypoglycemia. But, and you have to remember this, in a patient who might be malnourished, always give thiamine before the glucose. You've got to do it to prevent a really devastating neurological syndrome. And as you're doing all this, you're sending off for urgent labs and a head CT to get a direct look at that crime scene. So let's say we've identified a cause, we've started treatment, but cracking that initial case, well, that's often just the beginning of a much, much longer story for the patient and for their family.
We also have to be prepared, as detectives, to recognize when our investigation has reached its most solemn conclusion. Brain death is a state of irreversible, complete loss of all brain function. It is a clinical and a legal definition of death. It is not coma. It is the final page of the chapter.
And there you have it, a systematic detective's approach to the unresponsive patient. By mastering this method, you're not just a trainee anymore. You are a true neurological detective. The next time that call comes in, you are going to be ready. The only question left is, what clue will you look for first?